I have the Outside the Book assignment Fix This Project open, and I want to point out a few things I notice in this project. First of all, there is a constraint on task 1, and some people think that that is necessary so that the start date is set correctly. However, there should be no constraints whenever possible. People will add them, but right now at this point in our studies we don't want any constraints. So I'm going to double click on this task to show the task information dialog box. Go to Advanced. Here's the constraint type. I do want as soon as possible, and of course I do want to clear the dates. Alright, once I've done that, the dates change. Now if I want to set a particular start date, I don't want to set it using the constraint. I want to set it up in the Project tab and then Project Information dialog box. So this is the one date where you set elsewhere. It's the start date of the overall project. So I'm going to go to Project Information, and let's say that I want my date to be March 2nd. I'd come here, click March 2nd, click OK, and you can see it sets that as the start date, and it makes sure that all of these other dates follow suit. There are several things actually that make those other dates work out, and that is the predecessors, the duration, and also the indentation. You never want to manually enter a date. You want to make sure that your start date is set correctly, which we just did, but again you also want to look at what I just mentioned, the predecessors, the durations, and the indentation. So let me take a look at that. So the predecessors look good. Everything seems to be in order here. When I look at the durations, I see one issue, and that is start site should be a 0-day duration, so I'm going to fix that. And then when I look at the indentation, I notice that design phase and build phase are indented a little too far. See how those black triangles don't line up with this first black triangle, and they should. You can also see that in the duration. So the duration for this phase is 14 days, 11 days, but this one's 32 days. And the reason is it is summing up the duration of these two tasks plus all of these other tasks because it thinks those tasks are indented underneath. Now watch what happens when I highlight rows 5 through 12, and then I go up to Task, and I outdent. So I'm going to click this button to outdent. So the durations of those two phases stay the same, but look at this, research phase is now 7, and that's because it's now just calculating those two tasks. That's what we want in this case. So you have to watch your indentation. So again, in summary, to make sure that the project is ready to go, at this stage we aren't putting any constraints on, so we want to clear all of them. If we want to set an overall project start date, we do that up here in Project Information. And then we never enter any dates manually. To make sure that our dates are correct, we check all of the following. We make sure that our predecessors are correct, and they are. We make sure that our durations are correct, and they now are. And we make sure that any indentation is correct, and that is now the case. That's it for this project.